the title itself, 15 biggest predatory dinosaurs in the world. It should have been called 15 biggest predatory dinosaurs that ever existed.
We should all be thanking the Lord that we live in a time without dinosaurs.
It's okay. You can't cross. He has terrible depth.
This movie isn't even Jurassic Park. I have the right to complain about it. Why are you showing this awesome bro T-Rex model?
Perception.
Once upon a time, these incredible creatures were the rulers of our planet.
I saw when you showed a pterosaur and then a mosasaur.
Capable of taking on any landscape and any rival they wished.
Remember why we died.
But some predators are bigger than others, even in the land of dinosaurs. From the most iconic dinosaur in history to the T-Rex's cousin.
Wait, so are you saying that the raptors are going to appear in a list, in a video titled 15 biggest predatory dinosaurs in the world?
Here are the 15 biggest predatory dinosaurs in the world. Number 15. Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Dude, you should have put T-Rex at number 1 straight away. 15 biggest predatory dinosaurs in the world, right?
There's no denying that the most famous dinosaur was also the most terrifying. And no, for once I'm not talking about Barney. I'm talking about the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Why would you talk about Barney? Did you seriously think we're, I don't know, 2 years old?
A dinosaur so intimidating that Steven Spielberg himself made a whole movie about it.
No, Jurassic Park / Jurassic World wasn't exclusively about T-Rex.
Despite being the best known, the T-Rex was not the only tyrannosaur roaming the planet, but it was definitely one of the biggest. A fully grown, mature Tyrannosaurus Rex would have measured around 40 feet in length alone and weighed on average around 7 or 8 tons.
Now, the T-Rex's mass is more close to that of 8 to 9 tons, with many specimens like Sue and Scotty being bigger.
That's not exactly an animal you'd want to keep in the backyard, right? While it may be notorious for having little tiny arms,
you should never joke about T-Rex's tiny arms.
The T-Rex is not the kind of animal you'd want to mock. While it couldn't slap ya, it could absolutely reach down and break all your bones with a single bite. And that's if you're lucky.
Look, I said that I'm not going to complain about Jurassic Park / Jurassic World anymore, but that's only the case if they're using it for the same dinosaur that is currently mentioned in the list. However, right now we're shown Indoraptor instead of T-Rex. What is going on?
The Tyrannosaurus Rex is, hands down, one of the biggest and most notorious predators in the history of our planet. I can only imagine how many fast food restaurants these guys would be destroying if they were around today.
Would they even try and destroy? Like, they'd probably just leave because not worth the effort at all. Why would they go run around wasting energy trying to break stuff?
Number 14. Tarbosaurus.
Oh, so you're implying that Tarbosaurus is bigger than T-Rex?
Trust us, we didn't just make up a whole dinosaur. The Tarbosaurus is a real thing. Actually, it's a relative of somebody you may know. Yes, the Tarbosaurus is an international relative of the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
What do you mean, international relative? Tarbosaurus is only found in, Asia? Mostly in the Namek Formation in Mongolia, with more fragmented remains found further afield in the Subashi Formation of China.
To be more
also, this is T-Rex and Clash of the Dinosaurs when you're talking about Tarbosaurus.
specific, it's a Chinese cousin, or close enough.
Please tell me you speak English.
First discovered in the Gobi Desert, the Tarbosaurus is a 6-ton predator.
It's actually more close to that of 5 tons.
That really should be feared in its own right. The largest specimen, which was found in a 70-million-year-old Mongolian rock formation, was 40 feet long.
It's just around 10 to 11 meters in length, which is not enough for 40 feet.
So it's not exactly a little friendly thing, right? Today, there's still some controversy among experts concerning whether the
This scene is legitimately giving me PTSD.
Tarbosaurus was a species of its own or just another T-Rex.
Just another T-Rex. Tarbosaurus was not a T-Rex.
But as far as we're concerned, it's very much a species in its own right, mostly because the Tarbosaurus' skull is significantly different from the big guy. So, you know, thanks science. While the jury may be out on the Tarbosaurus' official classification, it's clearly not just another T-Rex, with even smaller arms and a different skull.
Well, you should have used accurate Tarbosaurus instead of whatever hell abomination Tarbosaurus the mightiest ever has to offer.
It's like saying Tom Hanks is just another, well, that's the point. There's only one. I rest my case. Number 13, Acrocanthosaurus.
Okay, so good thing about this paleontology video is the fact that it didn't mispronounce Acrocanthosaurus, unlike Brightside.
What is it with dinosaurs
Oh my goodness, this scene almost gave me a heart attack.
and extremely long names? It's like the old paleontologists just decided to use as many letters of the alphabet as humanly possible.
They had to, because this is paleontology after all. Naming new creatures with actual meanings, like Acrocanthosaurus, high-spined lizard, Carcarodontosaurus, shark-toothed lizard.
And the Acrocanthosaurus is definitely one of their most successful efforts because I've been practicing it for a while.
It's so easy. Acrocanthosaurus.
Do I feel lucky? Well,
In English, Acrocanthosaurus translates to high-spined lizard, which could sum up, well, any dinosaur really, but they're not like the kind of lizards that your friends may be keeping in a terrarium.
The lizard from Spider-Man is how you educate someone.
Unless your friend happens to have a 36 feet long terrarium, the Acrocanthosaurus was a 7-ton behemoth that once roamed North America
Acrocanthosaurus is more close to that of the 6-ton range.
some 105 to 155 million years ago.
155 million years ago. Are you out of your mind? It lived from 113 to 110 million years ago.
However, while experts have managed to narrow down a lot of information about these dinosaurs, there's a lot that is still unknown, including why exactly the dinosaur had a high spine. Some theories claim that it was a defensive mechanism to seem large to potential predators.
What? Acrocanthosaurus was at the top of its food chain. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you are currently showing very awesome T-Rex designs.
Which I hear is the same technique some actors use. Even though it's pretty huge to us, the Acrocanthosaurus was surprisingly small for the period.
Why would it be surprisingly small when it is literally the apex predator of its environment?
Still, it's definitely not the kind of thing that you'd want chasing.
Now, Monsters Resurrected did one thing good, is that they didn't portray hadrosaurs as defenseless cowards. This Tenotosaurus actually attempted to try and fight back. However, in this case, if I were the Tenotosaurus, I would run away.
You through the North American landscape some hundreds of millions of years ago. I have nightmares about it sometimes. Number 12, Dinoserus.
I don't think that's how you pronounce it. I think the way you pronounce it is Dinocheirus. And do you even call Dinocheirus a predator?
Imagine this. Until relatively recently, even the most expert paleontologists knew next to nothing about the Dinoserus, beyond its claws, and yet somehow managed to produce decades worth of papers on this mystery dinosaur, but that's a story for another day.
Stop showing this movie for the love of God. We're watching a paleontology video, not a movie.
In 1965, scientists discovered a pair of 8-foot-long limbs with 8-inch claws. The discovery was such a shock that paleontologists named it the Dinoserus mirificus.
Not gonna lie, this pronunciation is reminding me of how Gaming Beaver pronounces Dinosaurus. He calls it Dinocerus.
Greek for terrible hands. But that's about all scientists knew about the dinosaur until 2014, when 2 complete specimens were finally reconstructed, allowing experts to gain more insight into this ostrich-like dinosaur, and at 33 feet long and 16 feet high.
So the longest known specimen is around 11 meters, aka 36 feet long. A 2010 study estimated a hip height of Dinosaurus to be 11 to 12 feet.
There was a whole lot of insight there. This dinosaur was the largest of all ornithomimosaurs, and was likely omnivorous, which is only slightly less terrifying than a straight carnivore.
Okay, so it's generally more specialized.
At least they'd digest you with a side salad.
Better watch your back, kid.
I don't know what this movie is about, but one thing is for certain, using that as an educational source is just completely insane.
Considering how long paleontologists knew nothing about it, the Dinocerus is surely one of the most fascinating predators in all of dinosaur history.
Dinocerus. Clearly there's nothing wrong about it, huh?
And I guess that's a better name than Terrible Hands. Number 11, Paraliton.
Paraliton. How did you screw up this pronunciation so bad? And also, how is it even a predatory dinosaur? I know it's so big that it can defend itself against any predator, but that doesn't mean it's a predator.
Fun fact, any dinosaur that has Titan in its name is sure to be one of the most humongous dinos you're ever gonna see.
Have you heard about something called Gondwana Titan, which is not even that big at all?
And the Paraliton is no
What was that pronunciation? Paraliton? Oh my god.
exception. The scientist who led the team which found the fossils once told an interviewer that it was a truly enormous dinosaur by any reckoning.
The good dinosaur should not be used as an educational source either. Look at this cartoon, Apatosaurus, and then we got, is that Thunderclap?
I need to get home.
Surprisingly enough, not much is known about the
What's this? I have a feeling that this is not Paraliton.
Paraliton compared to the many other predatorial dinosaurs in the world. However, the small number of fossils and research material gathered about the dinosaur has revealed that it's undoubtedly one of the most massive dinosaurs ever to walk the
It's not even the top 25 of the largest sauropods.
Earth. One paleontologist estimated that the Paraliton would have measured around 85 feet long, which is the size of almost 2 Hollywood signs,
It's 88.6 feet long.
laid end to end. And
So many paleontology videos have this time-traveling Sarcosuchus from Planet Dinosaur. What is going on?
yes, would you believe it, this colossal dinosaur is still smaller than the biggest titanosaurs, like the Puertosaurus, the Allosaurus, and the Argentinosaurus, all of which are real and absolutely not made up.
This guy's incorrigible.
I hope you're not being sarcastic.
So I guess, while nobody knows the creature's size for sure, there's no denying that the Paraliton is one of the largest dinosaurs in history.
If there are like 40 sauropods bigger than the Paraliton, do you still call it one of the largest dinosaurs in history?
They're bigger than Hollywood. Then again, who isn't? Number 10, Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis.
Have you forgotten about Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis?
Boy, they're really testing their beloved voiceover artist today. The Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis is much more than just a challenging name. It's also one of the longest and heaviest known carnivorous dinosaurs in the world.
You should refrain from calling it that when there is literally another species, Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis, which is longer and larger.
Hey, are you scared?
No.
How long was it, however, is generally unknown and widely disputed. But trust me, it was a big dino. Experts have estimated that the Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis measured somewhere between 33 and 36 feet in length and weighed 11,460 pounds.
It's more close to that at 8,720 pounds.
Making for one large dino. With their enormous jaws and 8-inch long serrated teeth, these carnivores were understandably feared back.
Look at this Carcarodontosaurus you're seeing at the bottom left corner.
In their time. Perhaps that's why paleontologists named the dinosaur after the shark genus Carcharodon. After all, they're not a million miles away from sharks. They live on land and feast on the animals who made their homes here. And at that size, I think we can all agree that it's not an animal that you'd want to mess with.
Okay, so it would not even be aggressive towards me if it thinks I'm not worth the effort. I said it a bazillion times already.
The Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis was definitely a formidable foe. That much is for sure. Any giant animal that is compared to a shark is a big ol' nope from me. I've seen Jaws. Number 9. Allosaurus.
The fact that an Allosaurus is above the T-Rex, the Acrocanthosaurus, the Carcarodontosaurus Iguidenzis, as well as, I forgot the other one, but the Tarbosaurus. Goodness. Allosaurus, above them all. Okay then. Is it getting JFC treatment or something?
Yes, if this dinosaur could talk, it would probably have a British accent.
What did he say?
I think I said it before, but clearly this video is made for clueless 2-year-olds.
Said edge is edge, huh? He only took him down because he couldn't see you no more. What's he known about?
But sadly, it couldn't speak, so we don't know what accent it had. Actually, the Allosaurus apparently wasn't named as some kind of hilarious in-joke, which is a big disappointment to me.
JFC Ceratosaurus. Do you see anything wrong with it?
Once again, science is here to disrupt my fun. The Allosaurus is a genus of huge carnivorous dinosaurs that lived between 150 and 145 million years ago.
Didn't it also live from 155 million years ago?
During the late Jurassic epoch. Again, its name is not anything to do with humor, but it means different lizard in Greek, a reference to the uniquely concave shape of its vertebrae, which was unusual at the time of its discovery. The Allosaurus measured around 33 feet long on average.
It's just 26 to 30 feet. 33 feet actually belongs to a little bit shorter Saurofargonax,
Although some fossils have suggested it could reach 39 feet long,
which belonged to a dubious genus known as Epantarias.
Either way, this dinosaur was a huge bipedal dinosaur that was top of the food chain, often feasting on large herbivorous dinosaurs.
It's at the top of its food chain, but it also had to compete with Tarbosaurus and Saurofargonax.
The Allosaurus is one of the most well-known dinosaurs in history, thanks to its legendary status as one of the most formidable predators.
Also, this planet dinosaur Allosaurus's hatchet bite is just ridiculous as of current paleontology.
Well, ever. The only problem is when it said hello, you were saying goodbye.
As a response to allegations, sorry, I seem to have something stuck in my...
I'll be honest, that's as good a joke as you're getting. Number 8. Oxalia quillumbensis.
Which is basically just a smaller Spinosaurus.
By now I think we've established that there were a lot of dinosaurs in the world. Now it's time to meet one of the largest Spinosaurs in South America, the Oxalia quillumbensis.
This doesn't look like an Oxalia to me.
And as far as I know, it's not a Harry Potter spell.
Well,
Why would you even say that in a paleontology video?
Neville, I'm sure we'd all be fascinated to hear what you have to say.
The Oxalia quillumbensis is something of a mystery for paleontologists, who have only had 2 skull fragments to work with for decades. From those 2 fragments, however, these experts traced the dinosaur back some 95 million years. They also estimated that it would have weighed almost 8 tons.
Okay, so 2011 estimates said they had a mass of around 5 to 7 tons. more up-to-date estimates says just 3.32.
Which is an impressive discovery given the lack of information. Sadly, the likelihood of paleontologists discovering more fossils is looking pretty remote, so this may be all we know for a while. But then, this world is so unpredictable that anything could happen. For all we know, one of these fossils is the next president.
Which, even though it's just an imagination, even for an imagination, it's still completely ridiculous.
You are one pathetic loser.
For all we know, the Oxalia quillumbensis may not be one of the largest dinosaurs of all time. But we know for sure that it's the largest Spinosaur in South America, so that's something. May as well take whatever world record you can get when you're extinct. Number 7, Giganotosaurus.
Okay, so Giganotosaurus should have been number 2 because it was the second largest terrestrial carnivore to have ever existed. T-Rex takes the top spot, of course.
See if you can guess how this dinosaur got its name. Yeah, it doesn't take a gigantogenius. When the Giganotosaurus was
Giganotosaurus. What?
first discovered in the mid-1990s, it was thought to be the largest meat eater in history.
But nowadays, that belongs to the T-Rex.
But while the record has since been broken, it's still easily one of the biggest. In 1993, the first specimen was discovered in southern Argentina and quickly became known for its hefty size, weighing in over 14 tons.
Which is just absolutely insane. It probably had a mass of just around 8 tons or so.
And measuring 41 feet from head to tail. It became clear that this gigantic creature needed a gigantic name. In 1995, the unnamed dinosaur became the Giganotosaurus carolini, and then the whole thing started to come together. In 2001, digital study revealed that the Giganotosaurus was unable to chase prey any faster than 31.3 miles per hour.
Would it even need to chase down its prey when it can ambush them?
Without losing its balance, so it's probably lucky for them that they existed long before cars were a thing. Sure, the Giganotosaurus is not the most creative of dinosaur names, but at least it's one of the biggest, so that kind of balances things out.
As I said like a bazillion times before, normally I would complain about Jurassic Park / Jurassic World being used as an educational source, but at this point, so many people use it so many times that it's not worth criticizing anymore.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?
Which is ironic because balance was one of the Giganotosaurus's biggest weaknesses. Number 6, Utahraptor.
What on earth? Utahraptor above Giganotosaurus out of everything. Are you serious right now?
I know. The people who name dinosaurs are really running out of creative juices, but just stick with me on this. The story of the Utahraptor is so strange that it more than deserves the name.
So are you talking about a dinosaur story now? Inside of a paleontology video called 15 Biggest Predatory Dinosaurs in the World.
Just trust me. The Utahraptor is a large dinosaur that lived in North America during the early Cretaceous period. The first specimen were discovered in 1975 and were quickly found to be one of the largest, heaviest bipedal carnivores ever to walk the earth.
What? How is that statement even legal?
When further remains were found in 1991, interest was revived until it was eventually named in 1993. However, the original name for the dinosaur, Utahraptor spielbergi, named for the director who just had made the legendary Jurassic Park, fell through, forcing a change of plan.
It was just described as Utahraptor australorhamesi. And earlier, it had been intended to name the species Utahraptor spielberg after film director Steven Spielberg in exchange for funding paleontological research, but no agreement could be reached on the amount of financial assistance.
As it turned out, that may have been a stroke of bad luck, as the United States Senate approved a 2018 proposal to make the Utahraptor the official state dinosaur of Utah. because that's a thing. Of all the state dinosaurs in all of the continental United States,
This is just another movie that I have no idea what it actually is.
I like you a lot.
the Utahraptor is probably the biggest. I haven't verified that, but if it has the name of the state in its own name, that's probably true. Just wait until you see the T-Tex.
How do they even correlate with each other is the question. This video is making zero sense.
That's the Tyrannosaurus Texas, big giant cowboy. Number 5. Saurofargonax.
Saurofargonax. How do you screw it up so bad?
As far as we know, Godzilla is...
Did I also forget to mention that this Saurofargonax model is crazy, and Godzilla, just that cherry on top.
is not a real creature. But if it was, it would probably be related to the Saurofargonax, or in English, the Lord of Lizard Eaters.
Saurofargonax. Every time you pronounce it, one paleontologist dies inside.
Actually, maybe this guy would have eaten Godzilla.
What? What are you even saying at this point? This is so confusing and absolutely insane.
Either way, Godzilla is in for a shock. Oh, right, he doesn't exist.
May I tell you what I think happened? Alrighty then.
The Saurofargonax is a dinosaur from the late Jurassic period, around 151 million years ago. According to some paleontologists, the Saurofargonax
You're just mispronouncing Saurofargonax over and over. My heart is in pain.
is one of the youngest species of Allosaurus.
Even if Saurofargonax is just a bigger Allosaurus, your statement is still wrong.
Regardless of its connections to other dinosaurs, the Saurofargonax is an impressive creature in its own right. Experts have estimated that the maximum size of the Saurofargonax could be anywhere from 34 to 43 feet long.
34 feet long, that estimate is reasonable, but 43 feet, that's just crazy.
And weigh up to 4.5 metric tons.
It's just 2.7 to 3.8.
It's also the official state fossil of Oklahoma because, again,
There's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of nature.
that's a thing for some reason. There's no way for us to know for sure, but I feel confident saying that the Saurofargonax
Oh my goodness, stop pronouncing Saurofargonax wrong. If you don't know how to get it right, just stop and learn.
could probably win a fight against Godzilla. But I guess Godzilla has atomic breath, so maybe not. King Kong, however, probably.
You're an absolute daredevil, you know this.
Number 4. Spinosaurus. What do you call the heaviest meat-eating dinosaur of all time? David. But if you want a less official name, you call it the Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus was not the biggest. It was the longest, but it's not the biggest.
There are many interesting details about the Spinosaurus.
For the love of God, stop showing this movie. It's getting really annoying.
Very few of which have anything to do with the creature's backbone. Actually, there's a lot of controversy and debate over whether or not the Spinosaurus is truly the heaviest meat-eating dinosaur
No, I said it 100,000 times. I'm not going to say it again.
of all time. But there are some things we know for sure. According to experts, this was the first dinosaur that could swim, spending more of its life in the water than on dry land.
First dinosaur discovered that can swim.
Since the Spinosaurus was a theropod, it was also probably bigger than the Tyrannosaurus rex.
You mean longer than the Tyrannosaurus Rex? It is still smaller.
However, the lack of fossils means that it's open to interpretation, although I found that nobody responded to my emails, so apparently your opinion means nothing unless you're a paleontologist. It's very offensive.
You know something? You're right.
Those random movies in a paleontology video is so off-putting and so just out of place that I have no choice but to call them out.
While it may not be the biggest dinosaur in the world, it was the first dinosaur that learned to swim.
First dinosaur that learned to swim? You forgot something like Albertosaurus.
And we didn't even get to the 7-foot-long spines that grew out of its back. Truly some Godzilla-level evolution.
How do you compare spinal evolution with Godzilla evolution?
Here. Number 3. Albertosaurus.
Okay, so Albertosaurus is above T-Rex, above Spino, above Giganotosaurus, everything.
Friends, allow me to introduce you to Albert.
Of course, you had to call Albertosaurus Albert to appease to your clueless toddler audience.
A theropod that lived in North America during the late Cretaceous period. Specifically, it made a long-term home in the modern-day Canadian province of Alberta, where it got its name. Albert of Alberta. What a quirky Instagram account that would be.
HDS, sir, and how...
You're simply dragging out the video. Like, how many minutes is those movie sections? Like, 3 minutes, at least?
How are you this afternoon? Alrighty then.
The Albertosaurus was a tyrannosaurid, a bipedal predator with tiny 2-fingered hands and a huge head. But at 30 to 33 feet,
It's just 26 to 30 feet in length.
it was nowhere near as big or as frightening as the T-Rex. That said, it was at the top of the food chain in its local ecosystem, meaning it was a formidable predator in its own right. These scientists know more about Albert than other tyrannosaurids, thanks to countless fossils that have been removed since the dinosaur was first discovered in 1884. Do we know if it liked chocolate? No, but we do know it was likely a dinosaur that lived in packs.
Now, if this is actually an Albertosaurus, as you can see here, which it actually kinda looks like it a little bit, then I can excuse that.
You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow.
At this point, why am I even trying to complain about those random movie sequences that have nothing to do with paleontology video?
So, small steps toward finding out if they like chocolate. While a dinosaur with tiny 2-fingered hands isn't quite as terrifying as the huge terror of the T-Rex, it's still pretty scary. Well, it's as scary as a dinosaur named Albert can be. Number 2. Chronosaurus.
Okay, so Chronosaurus appears in a video called 15 Biggest Predatory Dinosaurs in the World. This is really reminding me of Bright Side's video right now.
There's something magical that happens when you translate dinosaur names into English. It's like the dinosaurs become infinitely more dramatic. So let's talk about the Chronosaurus.
This looks more like either a plesiosaur or a nothosaur than a pliosaur.
Or as it translates, Lizard of Chronos.
Sorry.
I told you dramatic! Tell me you can't imagine this dino wielding a sword. The Chronosaurus lived in the early Cretaceous period and was definitely among the world's largest plesiosaurs.
There was literally no warning. The dude just threw in a pliosaur into a video called 15 Biggest Predatory Dinosaurs in the World because the dude just ran out of ideas.
Fossils have confirmed that the Chronosaurus measured somewhere between 30 and 36 feet in length. The dinosaur...
Oh my goodness. This video is just making me cringe so hard.
Was also so giant that it was named after the Greek Titan's leader Kronos. So you know it's not just a flex or an ironic nickname. This is indeed a Titan-sized dinosaur.
Titan-sized dinosaur. Have you forgotten about actual Titan-sized dinosaurs like Argentinosaurus?
And while Chronosaurus isn't exactly Godzilla, it's still a pretty cool name. I meant compared to, like, Fred. No offense to any Freds out there, but Chronosaurus, come on.
Haha, so funny. I'm dying of laughter. I'm dead now.
Did you miss me?
As one of the largest plesiosaurs in the world, the Chronosaurus is definitely worthy of its place on our list. In fact, just a word of warning, it's probably best to avoid angering anybody with the name of a Greek titan. Just an instinct of mine. Number 1. Mosasaurus.
Of course there had to be Mosasaurus.
You may not be aware of it, but if you've seen all of the Jurassic Park movies,
At this point, I don't want to say it a bazillion times again. Mosasaurus is incredibly oversized in Jurassic Park/Jurassic World.
you've already met the Mosasaurus. The dinosaur
Absolutely ridiculous statement again.
is an aquatic species, one of the most gigantic underwater creatures our planet has ever seen.
It's like you haven't heard of Megalodon before.
In the late 1700s, the first Mosasaurus fossils were discovered in the Dutch city of Maastricht.
What do you mean 1700s? Discovered in 1764. You should have been more specific.
They were mistakenly identified as whale bones, which confused many experts due to their size. In 1808, one naturalist concluded that the bones belonged to a mysterious giant marine lizard.
I can cure them. There's no need to stop me.
But a name was not put to the bones until 1822. Today, those same fossils have helped establish that the Mosasaurus likely measured up to 58 feet in length.
That's outdated. It's probably more close to that of 43 feet.
Making it one of the largest mosasaur genera in world history. With its dozens of large teeth, it could likely rip its prey apart over and over. Anybody that has ever seen a whale in person will know that these animals are already some of the most stunning and most giant animals on the planet.
Mosasaurus does not even compare to a whale. You're just referencing to that giant oversized Mosasaurus from Jurassic World.
To imagine a 58-foot-long whale is just, well, I wouldn't want to be near the water while one of those is swimming around. Which of these dinosaurs?
So this is the end of the video. Again, absolutely crazy and horrific. There are two more suggestions that I have to go through. Community posts from Dead Song Gaming.